Oh, man. Guys, I'm happy to be here. I love doing comedy. I'm glad I do comedy. I've hated every other job I've had because I've hated every coworker I've ever had. I have no idea how people just instantly get along with their coworkers either. I've always been amazed by that because the people that I've known my entire life, I put up with all the dumb, annoying things they do. But coworkers, I hold them to a different standard, okay? I used to work at this office for a couple of years. There was a man that worked there over 10 years. I never talked to him because I hated the way that he would click the mouse. Fuck that guy. He clicked the mouse like an asshole. I don't need him in my life. I'm an adult. I'll draw the line wherever I want to. That's what I chose. Eventually, I had a good reason to hate him, though. He was the person that was overly excited, making small talk nobody cares about too early in the morning. One day, he came to work and was like, "Hey, Jeff, normally it takes me 40 minutes to go to work, but I found a shortcut. Now it only takes me 20 minutes to go to work." No, that's not a shortcut. You've been going the wrong way to work. For over 10 years, there's no such thing as a shortcut. That's just the right way to go, actually. I learned a cool trick when I was growing up, too, as a token white kid. I was a token white kid in most of the classes that I had growing up. And I learned a trick. Anytime somebody wanted to make fun of me, I used their ignorance towards white culture against them. I'll give you an example. I'm pretty hairy, okay? One time, a friend of mine pointed at my legs and tried to make fun of me in front of all of my friends and said, "Hey, everybody, look how hairy Jeff is. Jeff looks like a Sasquatch." So what did I say? I realized I was his only white friend. So I responded with, "You idiot, all white people are this hairy." I saw a kid that didn't want to look stupid next to everybody else hit the kid next to him and go, "Yeah, you didn't know that? All white people are hairy." And I invented a stereotype. Which you should never invent stereotypes. It's not a good thing to do, to invent a stereotype. But have you ever heard somebody try to say a racist stereotype and they used the wrong race? It messes you up. You don't know how to respond. I'm like, if I correct you, I'm just making you a more well-informed racist. I don't think that's a good thing. I heard somebody one time confidently, like everyone would agree, say, "You know black people, they're terrible drivers." I whispered to my friend, I was like, "That's Asians, right? Like, that's Asians?" Even if I don't agree with the racism, I want to be informed on what people think. I need to be in the know. Because you can't make up your own stereotype because you haven't met enough people of other races. You can't just be like, "You know Mexicans, they love Twizzlers." Like, what? Pretty sure that was just one coworker of yours, buddy. You need to relax. I've had a good time growing up. I can't complain. I can't complain. Anytime when I was growing up and I thought I was broke, I always saw that infomercial with the needy kids on it. Yeah, and it started the same way every time. There's always would be some kid in Africa. He had a stick, and he was just playing in a mud puddle, right? Like he couldn't play tag for free, right? Like he's poor, he's also not creative, okay? Imagination is free on every single continent, people. Okay? So he's playing in a mud puddle. Some random old white man walks in from the side of the screen. "For 10 cents a day. For only 10 cents a day, you can feed and clothe this child. Food and clothes, 10 cents a day." And I'm looking at this like, you know what? I have to do something. I do. I have to do something. I have to start shopping smarter. 10 cents for food and clothes? Where the hell do you get those type of deals? I shop around, people. I don't see that anywhere. Then you hear parents complaining. What are you parents talking about? Send the kids to college. Send these kids to Africa. It's only 10 cents to raise them. Over there. I love my grandparents. You can learn a lot just from talking to people older than you. I encourage everybody to do that all the time. Had a conversation with this old guy one time, and he was telling me, he's like, when I was your age, we were so poor, we had to put water in our cereal. That's disgusting, Gramps. Fun fact about cereal, you can have it plain. Just eat it dry. What's wrong with you? I don't know if you're poor. I do know you made poor decisions. Keeps on going, saying things and he's just exaggerating. Like he's like, when I was your age, we didn't have book bags. We had to carry our books to school. Great. Maybe somebody like you should have invented a book bag. No, I'm sorry, Grandpa, but every year since you stopped going to school, kids have had more books and heavier books that parents help shove into their kids' book bags every morning. Like when I was going to school, I used to have 2 50-pound books per class. And what did you have, Grandpa? You had the school book. Just one book called the school book. And half the history didn't happen yet, so it wasn't even that heavy. Oh man, I get into some awkward situations telling jokes. You travel around the country a lot, you meet some weird people, you know. I was using the bathroom the other day, and there was a guy in the stall next to me who started talking to me. Agreed, that's weird, right? But he had helpful things to say, so I felt I should listen. He was like, hey bro, you don't have any toilet paper. That's why I chose this stall. So I looked. God damn it, he's right. We are too far along in the process for me to change locations. I'm gonna have to solve this problem in here. I said, how do we fix this? He says, don't worry, bro, I got you. And then he rolls down the toilet paper. He said, just reach your hand under and grab it, bro. It's cool. Guys, I didn't have many options, okay? So I just went along with it. I reached my hand under, everything was fine, okay? He would roll it down, he would take some for himself, he would roll it down again, I would take some. It was a very organized situation. This is when it got weird, because it didn't yet. This is when it got weird. I was daydreaming and I didn't realize this man left. Now there's a new man sitting there. This man did not know the rules. He didn't know that another man already said that it was okay for me to reach my hand under. Instinctively, I panicked. I just said, hey, calm down, the last man said I could. Which is not the correct way to make people feel comfortable. Grew up watching a lot of cartoons too, man. And I love different cartoons, but when you watch them as an adult, sometimes you realize that the show had a different meaning than you thought it did. Like Scooby-Doo. I just now realize the truth behind that show. Scooby-Doo is a show that shows you how far white people go to snitch. They're solving mysteries nobody's paying them to solve. They're just on like a tattletaling tour of the world. Guys, I'm from Detroit. Scooby-Doo would never work in Detroit. Jinkies, I know who robbed the liquor store. Bam, now you're dead, bitch. You understand this? What I love the most about that joke is that the more white people I tell that joke in front of, the more that I notice how many white people have never even heard of the stereotype that white people are a bunch of tattletales. Yet those same people don't think white privilege is real. That seems to be like a pretty cool advantage that I got. to not be aware of negative things other people think about me, and I'm pretty sure that's exclusive to white people. Black people do not have any questions of the negative things white people have said about them. You're not gonna have a conversation with a black dude that ends with him saying, hold on, white people have been saying what about us? How long has that been going on? For a while, actually. Seems like we haven't gotten along all the time. I didn't know you didn't know that. I was reading an article the other day. This really upset me. Apparently, there's this camp that exists where if you're an awful parent and you just happen to have a child who is gay, you can send your kid to this camp hoping they pray the gay away. Which is insane, okay? But I believe in karma, okay? I'm sure a lot of people here believe in karma, all right? So what I think, when you watch these situations, when you read about these stories, I realize that it's not gonna work the way they think it will, all right? It's like, picture this, it's like there's a counselor, who thinks he's getting all these gay kids together so he can tell them that he thinks what they're doing is wrong. But what he's also doing, he's getting all these gay kids together, right? You're not even good at being homophobic. Like how? Honestly, if you hated gay people so much, why would you get them together for a week to mingle? You know what I mean? There's at least one kid leaving that camp like, whatever, homophobes, thanks for introducing me to my partner, Billy. If it wasn't for gay camp, I wouldn't know what a boy tasted like. Thank you. I love that some of you moaned at the end of that joke. Wrong answer. I'll tell you why. You can't support gay rights and then get uncomfortable when it gets sexual, okay? You can't support a group of people by cherry picking which part of their life you think is okay. Like, you're not allowed to go to the voting booth and be like, all right, I'm pro-gay marriage, but no butt stuff. I don't think anybody told this guy. I don't think he knows what's gonna go down. I don't like people feeling uncomfortable with my jokes. Let's talk about the N-word for a little bit. So, you guys are moaning like I don't know the rules. Shut up. I've been white for a while, guys. I understand. I was arguing with somebody online the other day because I don't use my time wisely. There was a strange white man who asked the question we've all heard too many times. He said, how come white people can't say the N-word? I've answered this question too many times. Now I've abbreviated and shortened my answer, okay? So now the only thing I say is, I don't know, black people ask us not to. How is that not a good enough reason? If you take away everything from a culture, the least you can do is give them a word. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even have to make sense. Just let them have the word and shut up about it, white people. Like, why would it bother you so much? Eventually, he just kept digging a racist hole, because the next thing he said was even more insane. He said that he thinks he's better than black people, because black people say the N-word and white people don't. Blew my mind. I almost froze for a second, didn't know what to say to respond to this guy until I thought about it. I'm like, okay, I don't think white people want to be judged as an entire race because of a stereotype somebody else doesn't understand, okay? So I explained to him, if we're talking stereotypes, you know what? It is true black people say the N-word. You know what they don't do? They don't curse when they're talking to their mothers. What just happened was a room, half of which is black, in complete agreement with this premise. Meanwhile, the half of the room that's white is looking at me like, what do you mean you can't call your mother a bitch? What if she's acting like a bitch? That's just the appropriate word to use in the given context. And if you don't believe me, let's talk about music, okay? Tupac. he said the N-word a bunch, okay? He also had a song called Dear Mama, which was about how much he loved his mama, okay? Now let's talk about another rapper who's white and never said the N-word. Eminem, for example. Not sure if we're all familiar with his music, but he had songs about his mama. They were about how he wanted to murder that bitch. Oh, but it's cool, he never said the N-word, so that's all right. He's off the hook, right? Oh, man. I don't have any kids. That's my favorite part about me, and that's how I'd best describe myself. And I know a lot of people have kids. It's a bad trend, and hope that stops. But I think it's crazy to have kids. I admire your patience if you do have children, but I think it's crazy to have kids. That's why I think it's even crazier whenever I turn to the news and I see someone kidnapped a kid. What? You want to steal a baby? Think of all the cool things that you could have stole. You know what I mean? Like, be honest with yourself. You could have stole a purse, a cell phone, a TV. You're gonna steal a responsibility? Why would you do that? You know why they do it, right? You've seen the movies. They do it for the ransom money. Good luck collecting ransom from me. Give me a call, like, if you ever want to see your son again, it'll be $100,000. It's only 10 cents a day to raise these kids.